All right, so we're here the day before RuneFest with Matthew Kemp. We're going to talk about some old school, some mobile, some announcements that people will hear about tomorrow. So we're going to just start it off, the big announcement. Warding, brand new skill. What's it like to bring that to old school?
It's wonderful. Now, we've tried releasing new skills in the past. This is our third attempt, I suppose is the right word. So the first time we tried to do it back in 2014. We had a skill called Artisan. We polled that to the players, and that got to about 58%, and we need 75% of players to say yes before we put it in. And then in 2016 we did sailing. We polled sailing to the players. That got 68%, so we're getting closer to the 75% we need. So this is the next one. What we did this time is we really looked at what the game needs and what players have been saying about a new skill. A lot of the feedback we got from players was, there are gaps in the skill. There are gaps in the different skills. How do we fill those up before we start thinking about a new skill? So warding sort of helps fill those gaps as well. And it really goes across the different skills because you need a lot of skills to actually make this work properly. And we feel that it fits so much, adds so much to the game, makes the game feel so much more complete. That's why we wanted to present it to the players tomorrow.
So how confident are you that it's going to hit 75%?
I think if we do it now, probably not. We're going to have to work with the players an awful lot so they get a better understanding of it. They will have a whole ton of questions that we're going to spend the next 6 weeks answering, I'm sure. They will have their own opinions and their own ideas of how they want to see the skill progress, and we'll take all those on board and work with the players to iterate on the skill design as it is now to make it something they're really excited about, and that's when we'll look at polling it to them. When they're at their zenith of excitedness, that's when we say, now, are you ready? Are you sure you want this? And they'll say yes, and then magic will happen.
Smart marketing. So obviously with RuneFest, looking at the two different games, with RuneScape 3, it's an announcement of this is in the game, love it or hate it. How different is it to stand up there for old school and say, well, we're thinking about putting this in the game?
Now, I've never stood up and said it about RuneScape, so I don't honestly know. I can't compare them that much. But what we're doing is we're going to players and say, we've had some great ideas that we think you'll love. And we're quite happy for them to turn around to us and say, no, they're rubbish, don't do that. That's why we do what we do. That's why we poll everything, because we know we're not going to get it 100% right all the time. However, we do get it right 95% of the time, so we're pretty close. The stuff that's going in, I think they're going to be very excited about. I think Song of the Elves and Prifddinas, they're going to go nuts about. I think they're going to like the skill. I think they're going to like the Kebos Lowlands expansion as well. I think there's some really exciting stuff for them. So it's trying to tell them, getting people excited is a great and easy thing to do. It's something we really enjoy.
Yeah. With the Lowlands, how much has gone into it in terms of, is it a new city? Is it an expansion? Is it a very large portion?
It is an expansion. So we're going to finish off the continent of Zaya. We're putting in the farming guild. We're putting in a new city with all based around Slayer, with new Slayer bosses, with new Slayer creatures. There's a whole ton of really exciting stuff. The work on it's already started because we need to get this out for early next year. And hopefully that will mean we've got to poll it pretty sharpish as well. But hopefully that will all go through that problem. There's some really cool content in there, which I think is going to be nice and easy.
So you talk about already starting development, before you've polled it. Is there anything that you've put, I guess, significant development into thinking it's going to poll well and then it didn't poll greatly and you had to scrap it all?
Not really. So we try and poll things near the beginning, if not before they start. However, when we're trying to deliver something for, and the likelihood that it is or isn't going to pass a poll, but we haven't polled it yet, what we try and do is we try and develop the features which can be used in other areas as well. So there's a lot of the mechanics behind it, and there's a lot of the structure building that we do first, just to make sure that if it doesn't pass a poll, we've still got usable code that we can use in other ways if we want to in the future, so nothing ever gets wasted.
Okay. So looking towards mobile, there's a bunch of press people over in the other room playing it at the moment. How excited are you to get this in the mass players' hands?
I can't wait. It's the players have been shouting for this for years. Loads and loads of the players have got it already because with the mobile-only beta, and that just went off like a rocket. Finally getting out there as a full launch on iOS, which will make half the players very happy because they haven't had the chance to do that yet, and on Android as well. I think we're going to see so many people just walking into lampposts because they're playing the game. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. It's going to make bathroom breaks at work a lot longer as well.
Yeah, I would like to apologise to every country for decreasing the efficiency of their work staff.
So we were talking with John Wilcox. The download is very small, and the megabytes it uses of your data is very small.
Yeah.
From a technical standpoint, how do you keep everything so tight and small?
It's managing the size of it. It's as simple as that. Making sure the stuff going into game is as optimised as it can be, that we're not loading it out with pointless sprites and other types of programs to make sure it stays that. But the key thing behind it was the game was originally designed back in 2002 to work on the worst internet, on the worst computer you could possibly imagine. So it's been optimised all from day one, from the very beginning. The whole structure is very optimised, and it is pure luck that it works so well on mobile in this case. It's the game was almost designed for mobile because of luck back in 2002 before anyone even thought of it.
Yeah.
Purely because it needed to work off the worst, 56k modems and your Windows 3.1 computers. It was designed to work on bad machines, and it's just been a benefit for us to make it work like this.
So has that been, I guess, the central goal of everything, is make sure that as many people as possible can play RuneScape in as many ways as possible?
Yeah, accessibility is key. I guess making sure that it is easy to get hold of, it is easy to put on your computers. I mean, computers have advanced so much in the recent years that computers not being able to play it isn't so much of an issue until you get really good monitors. So one of the problems we've got is the game doesn't run off a graphics card, which means if you want to scale up the game using your CPU onto a 5K monitor, you're probably going to struggle because it only works off one thread of your CPU. And there aren't many of those which can run our little game in a 5K screen very well.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get it onto graphics cards as well, and then we can bypass that problem at some point in the next few years. But it can have problems, but not very many.
So with RuneFest coming up tomorrow, with the orchestra tonight as well, do you go into that, I guess, feeling a bit more like a celebrity with everybody coming around trying to find you?
I feel absolutely humbled and honoured, in all honesty. And I remember the first time it really came home to me was RuneFest. We were at Tobacco Dock, so it must have been 2014. And I was standing outside, just sort of escaped for 5 minutes, standing outside against some fresh air. And there was this young lad who was looking at me. And so I went over to him and said, I talked to him because he looks on his own. He's probably about 13, 14 years old. So I went over and had a chat with him. I said, "You all right?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, you having fun?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm really enjoying it." I was like, "What was the best bit today?" He's like, "Meeting you." And that way, when you think, actually, this is an incredible responsibility you've got on yourself to make sure that people who look at what we do, who get inspired, not just by me, but everybody at Jagex and what we do, we've got a responsibility to them to make sure that when they walk away, this one moment they've got to meet somebody they've wanted to meet, they walk away feeling good about it. And it's a lot of pressure, but at the end of the day, there's going to be 2,000 happy people walk out of the event tomorrow, and they're going to meet the people they've wanted to, and they're going to feel good about it.
So in terms of, I guess, the experience of a player, of a fan coming here, they get to see the panels, they get to meet you guys. Often at other events, there's people who come in and maybe just dump a CV or ask for a job. Do you get much of that?
Oh, God, yeah. If we put a job on the website, we get 150 applicants in a day. Yeah, it's nuts. I get tweets every day asking for jobs. I was asked twice yesterday at the night before party that was that we had. Everybody, our fans would love to work at Jagex. I mean, I was a fan before I worked at Jagex as well. It's my wife's fault that I work at Jagex because she started me playing RuneScape, and then a job came up in the local newspaper. And she goes, I'm going to apply for that. So my wife applied for a job at Jagex, and she didn't get it, and told me I had to apply for it. I was importing forklift trucks from China at the time, so I applied for it as a fanboy, and I wouldn't speak to anybody for about a month because I was just sitting there, I was like, oh. So I've been there, and it is a wonderful thing to be a part of.
So if you get to, I guess, take off your professional hat at RuneFest at any point and just be a fan and just... I know it's very well themed this year.
Yes, yeah. I have always been a fan, so I wear both hats at the same time, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. But I wear both hats all the time. I think as a fan and as somebody who works there, I think it goes hand in hand to make the game better. If you don't care about it, then that's half the battle lost already. I love what I do. I care about the game. I want to see the game the best in the world ever, and I'll do everything I can to do that. And you can't do that unless you care and you are a fan.
Yeah. So obviously the interview will be after RuneFest, but we are recording this beforehand. What is the number one thing at RuneFest that you're most excited to show the players?
Oh, I don't know. I hate these questions. There's so much good stuff. One cool thing we're doing, you guys haven't been told about this yet, but one cool thing we're doing is we are hosting a special world at RuneFest for players to play on. We've taken a whole load of bosses and dropped them onto the main world. So you'll have things like the Dagonoth King spawn in the middle of Falador. And I'm quite interested to see how feedback comes on that from the players, because I think that's such a wonderful, fun thing to do. If it has some traction, the players seem to really enjoy it. That's something we can actually tie into a future update. It's these little fun things that we can do, which I think that I like to see the impact of.
And lastly, just before we run out of time, Deadman. What's next for Deadman?
Well, the last Deadman was incredibly successful. I think we had 120,000 concurrents watching it, which is crazy. I think we're getting to a stage now working with ESL where we have a really good show going on. Next step is to get the following seasons a bit more unique, I think, and add some stuff in there to make them seem really special and really entice people to want to continue to play through those next seasons. And what that will be, we'll have some conversations with the big Deadman players and see what ideas they have, and we'll get their ideas and make that happen.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Been a pleasure.